everybody. I'm Adam.
Stephanie.
And we're here to play some more Pathfinder adventure card games as our cats fight under the table that's holding the laptop. It's bad cats. We're playing some more Pathfinder adventure card game. We're on Adventure 1, Scenario 4 of the Skull and Shackles. Is it Adventure Path? I don't even know. Adventure, at least. So,
We're at Adventure Path 1.
I am playing Fea the Witch.
Woo! I'm Jarell, the Swashbuckler.
She has a lot of swashbuckling in her swashbuckler.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. So, I don't even remember what happened last time. It was like a blur because we did a multiple scenarios.
We fought botfly swarms. I remember that.
Oh, that's right. There's a bunch of botfly swarms. We fought Aaron something, the last survivor of the Infernus.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. And now we're on to the Grindylow and the Whale. And I'm going to read this prologue here.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Kitten Hoarder on Board Game Geek put up a bunch of stories that go, and they give a little better prologue to the scenario. You can't really see it here. But it's under the file section on Board Game Geek. And basically, the card game is based on the role-playing adventure path. And so there's a whole bunch of story that's there, even if you don't get it in the card game, and this kind of gives it to you a little bit. So I'm going to read this out. Scenario 1-4, the Grindylow and the Whale prologue. Thankful for the night of uninterrupted rest, a rare thing aboard Plug's ship, you set out for the Grindylow's cave with renewed determination. As you complete your trek across the island, you spot the wreck of the Chelish vessel Infernus, but decide to steer clear of it. Who knows what monsters lurk behind its rotted planks? The entrance to the Grindylow cave is another coral reef. You'll have to be careful to watch your footing. More scrimshaw skeletons decorate the landscape. And the shallow water is home to the marine predators, such as giant crabs and their more terrifying cousins, the reef claws, which have the appearance and combined deadliness of a giant crustacean crossed with a moray eel. After fighting off these monsters, you discover a sinkhole that leads further into the cave. Descending into the branching, half-submerged cave system, you quickly find that the Grindylows are more intelligent than they appear. They've rigged the caves with all sorts of traps, including tearing hooks hidden in algae and sharp ceiling spikes ready to pierce you when you surface for air. There are also, of course, innumerable tentacled goblin-like Grindylows. Bum, bum, bum. Eventually, you come upon the cave's central chamber, filled with the floating remains of half-eaten creatures, including, you're disheartened to find, some of your erstwhile companions. The chamber produces a foul stench that makes breathing difficult. There's also a strong riptide, constantly threatening to drag you under. Dozens of Grindylows team around their queen, wielding their deadly, handcrafted harpoons.
Is this Riptide Cove?
Maybe a little bit.
Ooh.
Even more terrifying than this Grindylow progenitor, however, is the freakishly oversized specimen that she is fondling like a baby, despite the fact that it's easily 10 times the size of an average Grindylow. You spot your surviving companions hanging by ropes from the ceiling, waiting their turn to become food for this massive aberration. You'll have to slay the Grindylow queen and her bloated spawn before you can rescue them. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have to fight out the Grindylow to rescue our captured shipmates. And that is the story. So,
Sounds a little gross.
First things first, we've set up all the scenarios here.
Grindylows.
These are the different locations we're going to explore for people who aren't terribly familiar with the game. And we've got the close-up cam here for when we roll dice and show you cards we encounter. So first thing we got to do is we got to draw our hands and make sure we have our favorite cards. So my favorite card is Spells. Draw my hand size of 6.
I did not shuffle my deck.
That's probably important.
I drew 5 blessings.
Nice. So I do have spells. I got Sphere of Fire and Detect Magic, which is awesome. Sphere of Fire is one of the ones that I got last scenario. It allows me to do multiple combats in a turn, which is relatively useful.
So I could be wrong, but I don't think that the Riptide Grindylows actually look that menacing.
You look menacing.
I know I do. I'm a Swashbuckler.
No, they're not too terribly menacing. They're an 11.
I didn't say that the stats weren't
bad,
but...
Cannot be evaded if undefeated, succeeded a Constitution or Fortitude check, or buried D4 cards. That's not good.
And then I get my favorite card type, which is Ally.
As long as you get a weapon with your ally.
Alright, I got 2 weapons, 2 blessings, and an ally.
That's a pretty good hand for you.
Yeah, not bad.
About all you can ask for.
I would have preferred to get my make everything swashbuckling item, but
oh yeah. Typing hi to Wavius there since he's always lurking in the channel. Okay, so we've now drawn our starting hands, and let's figure out who's going first. We're gonna roll some d12s. That's how we roll, right?
yeah.
Oop, that's Adam's 10. Oh,
11.
But it's fine. Let's also figure out where we're gonna start. So this is the sea caves. At the start of your turn, succeed at a Constitution or Fortitude 6 check or bury a card. My Constitution is D6 plus 1. That's kind of rough for me. I think it's rough for both of us.
My Constitution Fortitude or just Constitution?
Constitution or Fortitude.
My Fortitude is a D6 plus 2. Still not great.
Okay, well, you're better at it, but maybe we leave this till later. And to close this location, we have to summon and defeat a random monster that has the aquatic trait. So that's not too bad. Both of us can kind of fight. Yeah. Next is Riptide Cove. If you would succeed at a check to acquire a boon, reroll the dice. So you basically have to reroll all successes for acquiring good stuff. And there's a weapon, an armor, an item, and ally.
We're gonna have to redraw our hands. I just realized.
Oh, why?
There's special setup conditions.
Oh, okay. We'll put our hands back and redraw it.
Yeah. So pull all of your allies.
Oh, okay.
Because our allies got
captured.
Got captured. Each character shuffles one random ally from her deck face down into an ally pile.
Okay. Obviously the middle one. Master at Arms.
When you defeat a henchman, add the top card of the ally pile to your hand.
Okay. So we might not get our allies back. So this is a little different than...
At the end of the scenario, banish the ally pile.
So when we defeat a henchman, we get to get an ally back?
Yeah. We rescued that ally. So, let me redraw my hand. My favorite card type is ally, so it's a good thing we didn't have to add all of our allies or else my character would have been broken.
That would be sort of funny. So we play a lot of the organized play. In the organized play, it doesn't really matter what gets banished and what gets gone because you always use the cards from the deck that you have. But in this, the way this works, you only can have the cards that you have. So if I don't even remember which I didn't lose my surgeon at least. But basically, like if I had lost my surgeon and we didn't get it back by the end of it, I wouldn't have it to put in my deck going forward.
Yeah. So we should definitely defeat 2 henchmen.
All right.
Or else we lose our...
Anyway, we're talking about Riptide Cove here. If you would see... So, reroll successful boon acquires, and summon and defeat the henchman Riptide Grindylow.
Oh, we need, like, blessings deck.
So, this one's, again, is a combat, and you have to reroll. So either of us could do that one relatively easily. That was the Riptide Cove. And then we're going to the hatchery. When you encounter a Bane that has the Goblin or Aberration trait, shuffle a random monster into another open location. So this sounds like it's good to do last.
Yeah, right.
Summon and defeat a random monster. For the rest of the scenario, at all locations, difficulty to defeat monsters that have the Goblin or Aberration trait is increased by 2. So this absolutely is a do last. And then the chapel. If you play a card that has a Divine trait, you may immediately draw a card. I don't know if that's good, but it could be. Banish a card that has a divine trait to close it. So I don't think you have.
Demonic.
Well, all blessings have
are divine. Yeah. In fact, I'm thinking about heading there because I drew 3 blessings when we start.
Sure.
So
on closing, you may shuffle 1d4 cards from your discard pile into your deck, but you have to banish the blessing. But yeah, you get to get stuff back. So you want to do that one, and I'll do Riptide Cove.
Sure.
All right. So we're going to put our characters there. And you're going to go first. So beginning of every turn, we flip over the top card of the blessing deck. And Stephanie can have an encounter there if she wants, which she does.
Archers, bracers.
Yeah, not terribly useful for us.
No, we don't really care about this at all. The check to acquire is Dexterity 7. So I'll be rolling a D10 plus 1. And I don't get it.
But we didn't want it anyway, so... Meh.
Want.
Alright, so I go on my turn?
Yeah.
Blessing King Killian. Alright. Yeah, this one's just reroll successful boon acquired. So that was a cloth armor. It is a Constitution Fortitude 2. Again, in case anyone's not familiar, my character has a Constitution of a D6. And then I've upgraded it so it's D6 plus 1.
What do you mean? Is you auto-acquire it?
Yeah. So I would roll a D6 and add 1. My total is a 7. If I get this, I get it, but I have to re-roll it because of this place. I still get it. When you acquire this card, you may draw a card. I don't want to do that.
That's fair. You gonna discard or explore?
I don't think it's worth it. I have a good hand, and why don't I didn't do this before. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic to examine the top card of my location deck. I should have done it at the beginning. It is a Coral Capuchin. It's Wisdom Survival check. Reveal this card and discard another card. Add D6 to your combat check or D10 if the monster has an aquatic trait. It's a level 1 ally, but I don't know if we even want it. Like, discarding cards to add a D6 is kind of...
I don't think we permanently want it. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to acquire it now.
But you can't reveal it. So, but I don't think it's worth spending a blessing to try to do it. So I'm going to put this face up on top of here so we remember it's there. But, and then I got to... Because I cast this spell, I have to roll to see if I recharge it and get it back into my deck. I have to roll a 4 on a D12 plus 4, so I definitely get it. It goes on the bottom of my deck instead of the top of my deck. But then I don't draw anything else, so I'm going to let Stephanie go.
Okay. And I explore.
There you go.
And I found a Riptide Grindylow.
Oh, of course you did. Well, it's a henchman. No, that's good, right?
It is a henchman. He may not be evaded.
The cam is a little dark. Let me see if I can fix this here.
The check to defeat is Combat 11. I will play...
Sorry, guys. I'm going to adjust this close-up cam. I think it's...
I will play my Rapier. Pure combat check reveal to use your melee skill. Which, for me, is a dexterity, so D10 plus 3. And then I also add 2d4.
What are these two piles here?
This one I think just fell off the top, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, we also forgot at the beginning of the game we're supposed to add 1 random loot to our ship. So, type 3, which is an armor. Totally forgot about that. See, we forget about stuff all the time. We played this many times. Alright, so you're fighting the Riptide Grindylow. The Rapier allows you to use your melee dexterity skill plus 2d4, so that's d10 plus 2d4.
Yep.
Plus
and
3.
Then plus 3, and then I'm also going to recharge Rosie Cuswell to add a d4 to my combat check.
I'm just going to another d4. So you need to get an 8 on those 3 dice?
Yes, and because my check has the Swashbuckling trait, I may re-roll 2 of my dice.
Okay, you seem pretty safe.
So, 4 plus 9.
You're good?
I'm good. I defeat the Riptide Grindylow.
And one of our allies comes back now? Is that how it works? You defeat a random henchman, add the top card of the ally pile to your hand. So you get my parrot.
Your parrot.
That parrot's good, actually.
I'll give it back to you. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, we can trade at the end of the scenario, but I'm saying you could actually use the parrot.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like my acolyte, which would be useless to you.
And then...
Now you roll to see if you can close the...
I don't need to roll. I just need to banish a card that has a divine trait. All the blessings have divine, so I will just banish my blessing.
Alright, put it off the side there because we can use it again. And so you close it. On closing, you may shuffle D4 plus 1 card from your discard pile into your deck. But you don't have a discard pile.
I have a discard pile, so that's sadly not happening.
If you play a spell that has a divine trait, you may immediately draw a card at that location. So let's see what we missed out on. There was... Phantasmal Minion spell, a level 1 ally, Sandra Quinn. A fear spell, a black spot spell, Blessing of Abadar. This was like all good stuff in this location.
Probably. It's the chapel.
Yeah, it's okay. We're getting through it. We're finishing it off quick.
I don't think it was worth I don't know if it was worth not fighting the henchman, especially because
Yeah.
We can get our allies back.
All right, so my turn. I flip over a blessing, and I'm going to encounter here, and I know it's this Coral Capuchin. I need to roll a Wisdom 6 check. My Wisdom is D6, so it's unlikely for me to acquire, but I'll try it. It's a 4, so I fail. So sad. Coral Capuchin, you go back in the deck. And I don't think it's worth me spending a blessing or an ally to search again, so we'll just do this. Let's go. You feel comfortable going to the sea caves and having to make these Constitution Fortitude checks constantly? Or you want to finish off Riptide Cove with me?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's kind of rough because neither of us are, like, I'm D6 plus 1, she's D6
I think I
plus 2.
should help you finish Riptide Cove, because until we get it down to 2 locations, it's not like we can temp close and then win.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense for us to whittle down a second location.
That's fair. That's fair. I feel you.
All right. Is it my turn or are you done?
I am done, yep.
Okay.
Stereotypes in the chat. These guys been watching play Shining Force for a while.
Nice.
Very exciting.
All right. I take down the door.
All right. I'll put in a thing.
There's a giant rock crab.
Giant rock crab? That's not great.
If he would be defeated, re-roll the dice. He's defeated solely on the second die roll.
Okay.
If your check to defeat includes the range trait, after you act, he deals 1 combat damage to you. However, neither of us are rangers, so.
Nope.
Okay, so the check to defeat is a 13.
All right.
I have a rapier.
Yeah, the rapier's slightly better. You have the parrot in case you fail by just a little bit, right?
I do have the parrot, yeah.
All right, so your rapier gives you a...
So I have a D10 plus 2D4.
D10 plus 2D4.
Plus 3.
So you have to roll a 10 on those dice?
Yes.
It's not great.
It's not. I could bless it.
Yeah, but we have blessing and we have the parrot. Do you want to use blessings? Do you have
I also
multiples?
get 2 rerolls.
And then you get to reroll the whole thing? But you have to reroll if you succeed, right?
Yes.
So you have 2 rerolls and the parrot. Do we want to risk it with this? Or you want to use the parrot instead of risking you taking a bunch of damage? So every point she fails by, she'll take a damage. And for every damage, you have to discard a card. So I think maybe using a regular blessing is probably a better idea.
Okay. Blessing it is.
All right. I mean, blessings always add a d6, but this one says add 2 dice to any non-combat strength or constitution check. But so
that is not the case here.
All right. Go ahead and roll them. And you get to voluntarily reroll dice, but if you succeed, you are forced to reroll.
Blessing stick around for the second reroll?
Yes, because you reroll the same dice.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you rolled that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
70.
which is exactly what you need.
Exactly what I need, so I reroll now.
Now you have to reroll because the crab hates enemies. I don't know. I got nothing. And there's 2 10s.
Yeah,
so
good.
That's good. That's fine. All right, you defeat the giant rock crab.
And I'm not ranged, so it doesn't do anything.
It was a rock crab. No?
Nice. Your turn.
All right.
All right, I got my swashbuckler thing.
No, I'm Blessing of Gorum. Oh, it's any combat strength check, and yours are technically dexterity.
Oh, don't I have to do... Oh, no. I was thinking of seeking.
That's the other place. Yeah, this is just... You have to recharge. You have to reroll checks to acquire good stuff. So I got Taking on Water. No, our ship is taking on water. It is a Strength, Constitution, or Craft 7 check. You may recharge any number of allies. For each ally recharged, add a d4 to your check to defeat this barrier. I do have 1 ally. And it's a 7, which is a Craft check, which I can do, which for me is a d12 plus 3.
Nice.
So I have to roll a 4 on the d12. Should I use my ally?
Yeah, recharge your ally.
All right, so recharging his ally, the surgeon, gives me an extra d4. I have to roll 4 on those 2 dice.
That seems pretty good.
Pretty good. But if it's undefeated, I have to display it in the location, and you have to do it. It's not worth. Is it worth blessinging? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, and that
That
was
was an 8.
8 and a 1, so we're good. We destroy Taking on Water.
Nice.
And that's the end of my turn. And then since I recharged a card, I'm down to 5 cards. I dropped to 6. Not as much fighting in this as I thought there might be. Oh, let's do a blessing for you.
Says you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, you're fighting
Constrictor Snake. If the check defeat has the cold trait, it does not.
Frostbite though.
If undefeated, bury the top part of your deck and return it to the top of the location deck. So I'm once again going to fight with my rapier. He's 11. I'm thinking I will just deal with what I got. I can reroll 2 dice because of the swashbuckling.
Yep.
And I get +3, so I need to roll an 8.
So Stephanie's character has the ability, if a check has swashbuckling, she gets to reroll one of the dice.
I roll an 8.
She recently just upgraded it to
Actually,
roll 2 dice.
But
yeah. Suck that, Constrictor Snake. So Stephanie's stabbing all the things.
Stabby, stab.
Now my turn. I flip up Blessing of Achakek. And I encounter... Ooh, Sapphire of Intelligence. That is really good for me. I really want this. Can I spend a Blessing on this?
Yes.
You're going to be too mad at me?
No.
So it allows me to recharge this to use my Intelligence, which is my best skill on any check. So I'm going to play Blessing of the Gods, which allows me to roll 2 dice. And it's a straight-up Intelligence check, so it's D12 plus 1. In this case, it's 2D12. I think it should... I'm hoping... I mean, there's not much else I can do to acquire it. Oh, I have to re-roll it from the Riptide. It's still worth it. 6, 7. I got it with my +1 to Intelligence, but I have to re-roll it because we're at the Riptide Cove. And there's an 11.
Definitely got
I definitely got it. Okay. It's
Congratulations.
so good for me. Maybe we can get you the Emerald of Dexterity at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But honestly, I've got... Basically, it allows you to roll a certain skill instead of...
What, no. So normally, like, if I have to make a Dexterity check, my Dexterity is a D4. I'm just going to fail it. But that allows me to use my Intelligence, which is a D12 instead. Much better. I'm
the opposite. I roll a D4 for Intelligence and a D10 for Dexterity.
Which I think why we chose these characters to go together, because they, like, counteract each other. All right, your turn. Right. Blessing it up.
Blessing of the Gods. A belaying pin.
Is that an item?
Which is apparently a club weapon, melee weapon.
Oh.
So the check to acquire is Strength Melee 3.
It has swashbuckling, though.
It does have swashbuckling.
So you can use your dexterity melee to acquire it.
No, that's a finesse that I need.
Oh, okay.
Now, swashbuckling means that I may re-roll 2 dice.
Nice. So I guess go for it.
My strength is D6, so... I technically acquire it, but because we're at Riptide Cove, I have to roll again.
You have to re-roll it, yeah.
I have 5. I acquire the belaying pin that I will
immediately discard
because I really don't want it.
So if you have more cards at the end of your turn, you have to get to the right number of cards in your hand size. You either have to discard
or I can discard my parents
draw a card
to explore again.
I don't think it's worth it to keep the belaying pin. All right.
Probably not so much.
Flipping over Blessing, boring Blessing of the Gods, and boom. The Shackles Pirate. Combat 9. Difficulty of the check to increase is increased by the adventure deck number of the current scenario, which is 1. So he's at 10 to defeat. If the check to defeat has a swashbuckling trait, add a D4 to it. I do not have any swashbuckling. I'm a witch. So I got Force Missile, which is Arcane plus 2D4, or Frostbite, which is plus D6, which is slightly worse, but it reduces damage to me by 1. Alright, so I'm going to use Force Missile.
Cool.
Allows me to use my Arcane skill plus 2D4. So my Arcane is Intelligence, which is a D12, plus 4, plus 2D4. So he's a 10. I have a plus 4 on my dice, which means I have to roll a 6 on those dice. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Hey, what do you think, Steph?
Yeah. Do it.
Well, there's a 6 on the D12 by itself, or the 2D4s. It works. I defeat the Shackles Pirate. And now I have to check to see if I can get this Force Missile back. So make an Arcane check, which is D12 plus 4. And I have to get a 6.
You got it.
Which you do. So it goes under my deck instead of going in my discard pile, which means I can get it back later. And that's the end of my turn, so I'm just going to draw up another Blessing. Whoop, whoop.
Blessing of the Gods. Cabin Boy. So this must be either the villain or the henchman.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to look at it, but...
Check to acquire is Charisma Diplomacy. I have a D8. He allows you to add to your non-combat checks.
Any non-combat check?
Well, I will make this swashbuckling. I'm revealing Old Salt's bandana. Allows you to make this check swashbuckling, and therefore I can re-roll 2 dice. if I don't acquire Cabin Boy the first time.
What is your charisma diplomacy?
D8.
Nice.
So.
Obviously, there's only one value you can reroll. So now you have to reroll it because of the Riptide Cove.
Yeah. It's a 3, so I wouldn't acquire it, but because it's swashbuckling, I could try again.
Yep.
And I acquire the Cabin Boy.
Does he allow you to discard him to explore?
I can. Should I do it?
Sure. I don't think he's as good to keep as the parrot is.
Let's see who we're fighting. Riptide Grindylow.
Alright. Beat him up.
I'm thinking about using my Cutlass +1 and then discarding it.
Oh, yeah, that works since you have...
So, this allows me to reveal to use my melee skill. So a D10 +3. I also get a D6 plus another 1. So now I'm rolling this +4. And then I can choose to discard it to add a D8.
Okay. So it's this +4. You have to get a 13. Sorry, you have to get 11. So you have to roll a 7 on those dice.
Yes.
And it's swashbuckling, so you get to reroll up to 2 of them.
Yes.
I feel like it's okay, but I got blessings I can use on you if you want.
I feel like this is okay.
Okay. Do it. Roll a 7.
Well, there's
an
an 8 right there. So, all right.
All right. In order to close this location, you have to summon and defeat the henchman Riptide Grindylow. Who's very familiar looking.
Yeah.
So now you're going to use your...
Now I have to use my rapier because I discarded my Cutlass.
Yep, which is a D10 plus 2D4 plus 3. Do you want me to use a blessing now?
Yeah, that might not be bad.
And it's already got swashbuckling, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to use a blessing. So it allows her to add another die, which is her base die, which is a D10. And you have to roll as 6. Sorry, you have to roll an 8, rather. Going the wrong way.
I do roll an 8.
All right.
I roll more than an 8.
Cool. Riptide Grindylow is defeated. When closing, set aside any boons from this location deck. On closing, shuffle them back into location deck. Well, we've destroyed this whole deck, so that's not a thing.
Oh, wow. We don't get a second chance at boons because it didn't matter. I'm glad we teamed up on this one.
So you think I should go to the hat? So who's going to go to the stupid sea caves?
Well, I'm better at it than you are.
Well, no,
by 1, right?
Yeah, I'm D6 plus 1, you're D6 plus 2. We can trade off if you start taking too much damage, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Alright, so I will go to the very dangerous hatchery. So when I encounter a Bane that has the Goblin or Aberration trait, shuffle a random monster into another open location.
Do you have deck-looking cards?
Not on me. Not currently. Crocodile. So when that has the Goblin or Aberration, he's neither of those. Okay. So if it has the cold trait to defeat him, I add a D6 to my check. Oh, and I luckily have Frostbite.
A blessing for you.
Yes. So Frostbite is my arcane skill, which is D12 plus 4, plus a D6, and then because the crocodile says I add another D6. So I have to roll on a 9 on those dice. How's that feel?
Well, what's the average?
The average is 7 plus 6.5, 13.5.
So not great. Oh, you have to roll a 9. Yeah, not a 13.
That's pretty good. Let's do it. Boom.
Oh,
so
ow.
That was really bad.
That was ow.
That was rough. So I rolled a 5 on the dice, plus my 4 is a 9, so I failed by 4. That means I take 4 damage.
But you have armor.
I do. So it says banish to reduce all damage dealt to you to 0. But I'm not equipped with light armor. So, cloth armor, you've saved me from bad rolls and a crocodile.
Didn't you just acquire this?
I did.
Nice.
Now I got to see if I get my frostbite back. I need to roll at 3. I do. That was some bad roll right there. So he gets if undefeated, shuffle this card into a random open location if it came from 1. So on a 1, 2, 3, it's here. 4, 5, 6, it's here. Back into the location. All right. That's, I guess, the end of my turn.
All right.
It's a little rough, but...
Blessing Sivana?
Sivana?
So to the sea caves.
Right, you went there.
I didn't start there, so I'm going to do that. A spell that I'm very likely not going to acquire.
It's true.
I need Intelligence, Arcane, Wisdom, or Divine. I have Wisdom, D8, so I guess I will use that. And sure, I will make this...
Swashbuckling?
Swashbuckling. So I can reroll it. Let's see what happens. 6. I acquire instant armor. And...
You still cast it. It gets banished if you don't know how to use it. Oh, I gotta draw back up.
So it allows me to, when an armor is played on any check, discard this card to recharge that armor instead of discarding, burying, or banishing it. And that is all. Which actually doesn't seem that helpful.
No,
so
really.
I'm discarding it.
Alright, remember she has to discard down to her hand size at the end of the turn. So that's what's going on there. So, blessing. I am going to play Buoyancy. Discard this card to examine the bottom of your card of your location deck and put it on top of that deck. The bottom card is a Constrictor Snake. Check to defeat as a cold trait, add a d6. If undefeated, bury the top card of your deck and return it to the top of the deck it came from. So then let's see if I get my Buoyancy back. Oh, I automatically do. So Buoyancy comes back.
Did you have to bring them to the top?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, when it's a completely shuffled deck and you don't know what's in it, it's exactly the same as looking at the top card of the deck.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So
some of the looking through deck cards allow you to choose whether or not it moves. So
I'll encounter him, and then I'll use my Force Missile. D12 plus 2d4 plus 4. So I have to get a 7 on those dice. What could possibly go wrong?
Not a thing.
I do not have the cold trait, unfortunately. He's not a goblin or aberration, so that's 3, 6, plus my 4 is 10. I fail by 1.
That's not as bad as failing before, though.
No. So I would take 1 damage now. I do have the Amulet of Life. Discard this card to reduce damage dealt to you by 3, and then I could try to recharge it. So I'm going to do that. And so I have to get a 7 on my Arcane check to recharge it, so I have to roll a 3 on this die. Which I do.
Nice.
So I don't take any damage, but so you get shuffled back in the deck. If undefeated, bury the top card of your deck.
Oh.
Acolyte, not the end of the world. And return the Constrictor Snake to the top of the deck. I mean, if you want to come over here and beat down the Constrictor Snake, that's fine with me too.
I could do that.
So you
still have to... I start with a Constitution Fortitude. What's it do?
Yeah, you make a Constitution Fortitude 6 check or bury a card.
Well, I'm making the Swashbuckling.
Oh, true. When you have the bandana, this is not that hard for you, is it?
Well, that's a fail.
Or it's much easier for you, at least.
That's a succeed.
All right, good job.
Okay. Sure. I'll come over and help you with your Constrictor Snake.
Baelish is in the chat. What's up, Baelish? Have you played this before?
So it's an 11.
Oh, the end of my turn, I gotta draw back up.
I reveal my rapier. So I get a d10 plus 2d4.
Nice.
And I have plus 3, so I need to roll an 8.
That is correct.
And it's Swashbuckling, so I get to reroll 2 of them. But I don't need to.
Alright, Constrictor Snake
is defeated.
Dead. Stabbed. Oh, I forgot to roll to recharge my my Force Missile last turn.
Special at this. It was a beam that was a goblin or aberration, which was not bad. Alright.
Okay, so beginning my turn, flip a card over. Blessing of Milani allows me to add 2 dice to a non-combat dexterity or wisdom check. Alright. Detect Magic allows me to examine the top card of my deck. And if it's a blessing or magic trait, I can immediately encounter it. Top card of the deck is a Crab Swarm, which is not a blessing or magic. So it says each character I don't have to encounter it.
Oh, okay.
Each character at your location must summon and encounter Crab Swarm, which is combat 8. If any character would defeat it, reroll the dice. That character must take the second result. If they're defeated, based solely on the results of your second roll. So, I mean, we could do it. We both have to do it.
Yeah.
I automatically get Detect Magic back. Should we just do it to... Are you okay fighting it?
I'm okay doing it, but since... Oh, it's not an aberration, right? Okay, never mind.
Right.
I could do it.
I mean, I only have 1 combat check, so... Alright, let's do it.
Alright.
So I'm going to play Sphere of Fire, which gives me a d12 plus 2d6. And I have plus 4 as well, so I need to roll 4. Good. And then I have to reroll it because it's a Crab Swarm. And that's what it says. Alright. Crab Swarm defeated by me.
Okay.
So it is defeated.
I'm playing a Rapier.
Oh, before I do this, let me roll this to see if I can get that spell back. I do.
So a d10 plus 2d4 plus 3. So I need to roll 5 on this.
Yes. And you get to reroll up to 2 of the dice.
And
right.
I reroll because it's a Crab Swarm.
Right.
And I still succeed.
Alright, Crab Swarm defeated. All right, and then that's the end of my turn, and I got to draw back up.
Okay.
Cool.
So I go back to Sea Caves now.
Yep.
And I'm fighting. I just assumed I was fighting something.
Yeah, it's true.
A rat swarm.
There's only 2 monsters in here, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
All right, whatever.
I'm fighting another swarm. I have to defeat by at least 4, or else it gets shuffled back.
So if you get an 8, you defeat it, but it gets shuffled back in the deck. If you get a 12, you defeat it.
So rapier, I'm rolling a d10 plus 2d4 plus 3.
D10 plus 2d4 plus 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to roll 5 on those dice. You get to reroll 2 dice because it's swashbuckling. The average is like 10.5, so you're not likely to ban it, to like super defeat it. Do you want me to use a blessing?
Is it worth it? We still got another henchman and the villain.
I have a blessing.
I have a blessing.
I have 2 blessings in my hand, and I have the surgeon, which will allow me to heal myself, and only thing in my discard pile right now is blessings.
Oh, then sure.
Alright, so I'll give you a blessing.
So I get another d10.
You do get another d10.
Okay.
Very exciting. Alright, that'll
And
do it.
that will definitely defeat it.
Alright.
And banish it.
Cool, cool. And you get your rapier back.
I do.
Alright, so you are done.
Yes.
Cool. On my turn, there are 4 monsters here. So I only have 1 combat spell, but I have a combat spell, so I should just do it, right?
Yeah.
Boom! That's the villain.
Oh.
Oh, we could win right here.
We could win.
It's possible. So the villain is the Brine Brood Queen. May not be evaded.
Adam, I get this card.
Yes, you do. You should have that in your hands.
Whoops. We'll just pretend like
you discarded it at some point. Yeah.
At some
when
point.
she defeated the second henchman, she should have gotten the. My laptop is not plugged in, so it's being a little choppy.
Oh, so it is.
I forgot to plug it back in. Sorry if it's been a little choppy for anyone watching here.
Yeah.
It should be better now.
Yeah, I'll pretend like I discarded it, even though.
So when she defeated the second Riptide Grindylow, she should have taken the other ally from the pile into her hand. So let's just assume she discarded it for no reason.
The only reason that we're doing this is because if we defeat the villain now and the
game ends, we would lose
that ally
forever.
And I don't want that to have happened when it shouldn't have. So, all right. Okay, so what's my close? Summon and defeat a random monster that has the aquatic trait.
So before we do that, though, there's a before you act. So before you act happens first, then they get to try to close it. Before you act, summon and encounter the villain, the whale. If you defeat the whale, the Brine Brood Queen deals 1 acid damage to each character at your location. If the check to defeat has the ranged or attack trait, the difficulty is increased by 2. So I only have 1 combat spell.
Is the whale a henchman?
I think it's a villain, I think it said.
Oh.
Yeah. So my problem right now is...
You can't defeat the villain.
I can defeat the first villain, but then I won't have a second spell.
What happens if you don't defeat the whale?
If you do defeat the whale, she deals 1 ashes damage to everyone of your character. If I don't defeat it, I just take them the same normal fail conditions.
If undefeated, succeeded a con fortitude 6 check, or discard the top D4 cards of the blessing stack, that's not that big of a deal.
But still take the damage from losing
But you'll
the
still take the damage from the combat, and you have no way of... Let's see. The whale is combat 11.
Yeah.
So you have no way of succeeding and still keeping your spell, right?
Right.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, so, let's do it. There's no reason not to defeating this is better. So I'll play my Force Missile. Gives me a D12 plus 2D4. I have to roll a 7 on these dice. Yeah, I do. So defeat the whale.
All right.
Let's roll to recharge that spell. 3 plus 4, 6. That's enough.
Okay, well now I move on to Tim Closing, right?
Yes.
Summon and defeat a random monster that has the aquatic trait. So I'll just pull a monster until I find an aquatic.
Yep. So the reason we're still doing her temporary closing is if this one is temporarily closed when I fight the villain and the villain escapes, then this is the only place the villain can go back into. So we know where the villain is at least.
Giant moray eel. So I have my rapier, so it's a D10 plus 2D4, and I get to reroll 2 of them. I also have a parrot. I could choose to blast discard to add a die to any 2 dice to any swashbuckling trait check, but I don't know if it's worth it because you probably aren't defeating the villain. What are you fighting the villain with right now? Just
my
your strength, which is a D4,
D6 actually.
D6. So if we add a
this could happen. I don't know if it's worth it, but I have a Blessing of Achakek, which will give me plus 2 dice. So I'll be rolling 3d6
against the villain. Okay.
Against the villain. And you have a Blessing.
I have a Blessing.
So that would be 4d6, and I could recharge a card to make it 1 worse. So I'd have to roll a 12 on 46, which actually is better than average. Should we just go for that?
It. All right, so I won't use my Blessing here because I'll save it for yours. But I do have my parrot, and I also am making the swashbuckling. So let's see what happens when I do this first.
All right, so then you need to
And how about I discard the rapier so that I get, I'm adding another D4.
This is my favorite Twitch channel.
Hey, Baelish is following. What up? Thanks for following. You get a Yoshi, and you get Commander Shepard agreeing with you. Yeah, we're here. We're playing this every Saturday, pretty much. We might switch to another game at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so
we'll get through this first.
D10 plus 3D4.
3d4, you say?
Yeah, because I discarded my rapier.
All right.
I have another one, so.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, that'll do it.
That's not. So she defeats the eel.
I defeat
so
the eel.
this location is temporarily closed, which means if I fail to defeat the villain, or if I even at the end of my fight with the villain, she cannot escape there. Okay, so now I go on to fight the Brine Brood Queen.
Okay.
Oh, when I defeated the whale, it deals me 1 acid damage. So I take a damage. Not a big deal. What are you doing? I was going to get a spell back.
Yeah. You don't have your Sapphire Intelligence, right?
I do it on my hand.
Oh, can you...
It's for non-combat checks.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Okay, so this is what's happening now. To fight the Brine Brood Queen, you usually use a weapon or spell, but if you don't have anything, you can just use your strength. So my strength is a d6. Then I'm going to play this Blessing of Achakek, which adds 2 dice to any check to defeat a villain or henchman. This is a villain. So, 3d6. I am then going to recharge a card, because my power is when a character at your location attempts to check to acquire a spell or defeat a monster. She is the monster. It says type monster. You may recharge a card to reduce the difficulty of that check by 1, plus the adventure deck number of the recharged card. So, I'm reducing it by 1. So, the difficulty goes from a 13 to a 12.
Oh, what was the adventure deck number of the card?
It's basic.
It was basic. Okay.
So 1
and
plus
now
B.
I'm playing another Blessing. Discard to add 1 die to any check.
Which is another d6.
Yeah.
So now, if I get 12 on these 4 dice, we win the game. Or we win the scenario. And if I fail, I only lose a die, so it's not too bad. I only use 1 card. That is 9, 12, 13.
Woo! Good job.
Alright, we won. That was surprisingly effective.
Yeah.
Alright, so we defeated the scenario.
That's cool.
Take that. So now we get to do the post-scenario wrap-up-y stuff. So let's see what we missed out on acquiring. There's nothing good in this deck. This is a long sword, which you don't even care about.
That's good. We did save our allies, so that's...
We did save both of our allies. There was a swashbuckling finesse weapon in here, but it's not that great.
Okay. Is it better than my rapier?
I don't know. Man, there's a level 1 armor.
Here's your parrot back.
So now, between the group of us, we get to exchange all the cards, and we see whatever new cards we acquired, we can swap those out for cards that we had. So I acquired the Sapphire of Intelligence, which Stephanie does not really want. But Stephanie did acquire the spell on accident that I could swap out for one of my spells. Now, each of your characters also has, it will say how many of each different thing they are allowed to have.
Did you acquire any blessings?
Where'd my... I did not acquire any blessings.
Okay.
So, for example, I can only have 2 items. But because I acquired the Sapphire of Intelligence, I now have 3 items. So I can only keep 1 of them. Oh, and then we also have this plunger we acquired at the beginning of the scenario, which is a buckler. It's an armor. My character can't use any armor, so I'm going to give it to Stephanie to see if she wants it.
I do not.
But she acquired this spell, which I could use. When an armor is played on any check, discard the card to recharge that armor instead of discarding, burying, or banishing it. You only have like 1 armor card. I don't have that many.
Correct.
So I don't think this is really worth keeping, so I'm going to get rid of that. But the Sapphire of Intelligence is like one of the best items I could get for my character. So now I have to either get rid of my Amulet of Life, which is like an item that works like armor for me, but it's any kind of damage, which is really good. Or get rid of this Token of Remembrance, bury it to recharge a card from your discard pile, a spell card from your discard pile. I think the Token of Remembrance isn't that good. Like I think the Sapphire Intelligence is better. So yeah. I'm swapping that out. And I have my little character score sheet that we keep track of. The main reason we keep track of this is in case we lose a scenario, that we can know what we had at the beginning and we can start over. So, do you have that pen stuff I can steal?
Yes, here you go. Oh, and for succeeding in the for succeeding the scenario, our reward is loot, Besmaro's Tricorn, and Vindictive Harpoon.
Ooh.
So now we can use either of those.
Do we have to actually put those in? Like,
is
that like an item that we have to keep, and if we get rid of it, it's gone?
I don't know. We should probably read the rules for that. We've only played the organized play version.
Yeah. So the organized play is how you can. I forgot to read the.
The ending.
Ending, yeah. Let me do that. So anyway, that's what we kept. We're going to figure out how these loot cards work.
So we saved our friends for the Grindylow.
The Grindylow and the Whale epilogue. Although some more of your companions perished during the altercation, you managed to rescue a few of the captured crew members, including the Besmaran cleric Sandra Quinn. Truthfully, she should have died, given the terrible state you found her in. You can only guess that her beloved tricorn hat, which remained miraculously with her throughout the abduction and ensuing battle, really is touched by Besmara. You'd like to have her heal your wounds from this tough battle, but it's obvious that she needs to conserve all her healing energy for herself. The once confident pirate can barely stand. Anxious to repay you in some way for this dangerous mission you undertook on her behalf, Sandra makes a gift of her magical tricorn. You humbly accept it. You also salvage one of the deadly harpoon weapons from the Grindylow corpses that now litter the caves. I hate to ask this of you, you tell your rescue companions, but you need to be ready for another fight. Plug gave us 3 days to complete this mission. If we approach the man's promise tonight before repairs are complete, we have a chance at catching him by surprise. And if we're going to overthrow those tyrants, we have to act now. Aye, aye, Captain, the exhausted Sandra Quinn responds.
Let's do it. Let's act now. Luckily, we did not acquire Sandra Quinn, so she's not even really coming with us on this mission.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
So I was reading through the scenario for the role-playing of this, which we're actually playing on Monday. I'm playing with my role-playing group. And Besmaro's Tricorn, you can like say a magic word and it turns into a boat.
What?
Like it turns into a boat. It's kind of awesome.
That's ridiculous.
It's magic. So we're going to look up loot here to figure out how this works. But anyway, that's the end of the scenario. I'm going to stop this recording for YouTube. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll come on with the next scenario and let you know what happens.
Bye.